says, can you use Yamaha products like ring free in Mercury engines? I'm sure Mercury would say no and Yamaha would say no, but I would say yes. I mean, like, it's just a fuel additive is a fuel additive. I mean, what it does is it helps clean. So, obviously Mercury is going to want you to use Quicksilver Quick Clean, and Yamaha is going to want you to use Yamaha Ring Free. They basically do the same thing. I think they are both outstanding products. If you have a Mercury engine and the only thing available is Ring Free is really good for the engine. I mean, I would put that in my fuel and run it through the Mercury. It's not going to harm the engine. It's a cleaner. It cleans, it's a fuel additive that cleans your fuel. It helps combat carbon buildup and other things like that. So I would say yes. I'm sure if you talk to a legal representative of these companies, they'd probably tell you no. But I mean, I highly doubt something like that would void your warranty. It's a cleaning product. They both make the same product. It's probably close to the same product. I mean, I think they're both great. I've seen engines, both Mercury, Yamaha, whatever, taken apart where someone uses Ring Free or Quick Clean, and the engine is 100 times cleaner on the inside than ones that don't run a fuel additive like Ring Free or Quick Clean. James Townsend says, what does starboard shift not working properly message mean when you have a single 225 setup? So this is an error code that happens on Mercury if you have a problem. The only reason it says starboard, and this is kind of goes on all brands for the most part, is even though you have a single engine application, all of your okay, let's put it this way. So most of your single engines, you have a right-handed gear case. It's a standard rotation gear case, and you have a left-handed or, counter rotation gear case. A standard rotation gear case, that engine is considered a starboard engine. It's going to be your outside starboard engine. If you have twins, you have a starboard and a port. If you have trips, you will have a starboard inner, and a port. If you got quads, you got starboard inner, port outer. So basically, if you have a single engine, the engine is considered a starboard engine because it's a right-handed gear case, and that's a single starts from the right, basically. Again, doesn't really matter the brand. That's just kind of the setup of outboards and multiple outboards and how that is considered as far as the location goes. And that's important because the location of the engine, especially in any engine that's built in the last 20 years from probably 200 and up, most of them are fly-by-wire. I mean, most everything is either digital throttle shift, digital electronic control, fly-by-wire, whatever you call it, doesn't really matter. It's an electronic controlled engine, and the engine location is key because whenever you move your handles at the helm, that needs to know what location that engine's at. You don't want to move your port throttle control and operate your starboard engine. It's just kind of how that goes. So that's why it says that. But as far as your shift not working properly, that's because you got a shift problem. Whether your shift actuator is failing, your lower unit is failing, your shift shaft is getting stuck, or you have an electrical problem feeding the shift actuator, whatever it is, low power, if you don't have enough 12 volts at the engine, that can cause codes like that. But yeah, that's what that code basically is telling you, that you got a shifting problem, whether that's any one of those issues. But the reason it says starboard is because the location of the engine is the starboard location. Clark Hill says, so would a misfire in a cylinder cause prop shatter? It can, yes. Normally, think about a cylinder misfire. So when you have a cylinder misfire, you got a running issue with the engine. An engine is balanced. So no matter what the engine is, it's either got a harmonic balancer, it's got the firing order is developed to minimize harmonic balance, which harmonic balancing is basically the balancing of the engine. So your pistons are going up and down all the time, whether they're in line or they're a V engine configuration. With that, this piston's throwing this way and this one's throwing this way, and it's got a single spot. So like when this throws this way, it's going, it's putting tension on the crankshaft to go that way. Same thing, vice versa. So with all these pistons moving, all that stuff it's throwing itself out. So you have to balance that, and they call the harmonic balancing of the engine by either a balancer on the flywheel, a balancer based on the firing order of how the pistons are going, which one is on top dead center compression, which one's in the middle, which one's on exhaust. Like when that engine fires to bring your compression, it balances itself out. Or you have balancers on the crankshaft, you have a balancer on the front of the engine, like you have balancing built into the engine. And anything that throws that balance off, like a misfire or a cylinder that's not firing properly, that will throw off the balance of the engine. When that throws off the balance of the engine, vibration, you get a vibration. So generally when we talk about prop chatter is a vibration or that chatter developed by the propeller, not from the engine. An engine misfire will create a vibration which could result in prop chatter, but generally you can tell the difference in a running issue, vibration of the engine versus a prop chatter creating a vibration of the engine, if that makes any sense. Prop chatter is usually done because of preloading on the pinion gear or the thrust washer of, not the thrust washer. It can be the thrust washer. If you put the wrong thrust washer onto a propeller, it can create prop chatter, but generally it's the hub of the propeller. Most of them have dampening systems. There's so many of them, different propellers, different brands, different names, but they all virtually do the same thing. So, whether you got a prop tech, you got a Yamaha prop, you got a Quicksilver prop, you got a Mercury prop, you got a, I'm just trying to think of other ones. I can't think of all the other different brands out there that make propellers. The hub, a turning point, that's what I was trying to think of. But the hub of the propeller, there's different hubs for different applications. You have the SDS hub, which is a silence dampening hub. You have, the flow torque, the reflex hub. Different ones are going to create different things. A lot of the SDS hubs have the rubber hub in there that I'm trying to think of the way to describe what it does, so that way it makes sense. Think about, your prop shaft is metal and your propeller generally is metal, a stainless steel propeller. That propeller has weight to it, metal. The two metal together, it's gonna click, it's gonna clatter, it's going to vibrate because of how heavy this is and how fast this is spinning. So if you put rubber in between the two, or you offset them so something else takes the weight out of it, it basically is a dampener that will absorb the difference between the metals, that will alleviate or remove a lot of that chatter that you can get. Also, if you got a smaller engine, you got an inline 4-cylinder. Inline 4 is probably the most unbalanced engine out there, harmonically speaking, based on being 4 cylinders in line compared to like a V4 or an inline 6. The inline 4 is very unbalanced. That's why they have balancers built onto them. That engine, if you take one of the, especially like a 115 or a 90 or a 150, something like that, depending on the application, you throw an aluminum prop on there, the aluminum prop's pretty light. It doesn't ever have any chatter. You throw a stainless steel prop on there, that stainless steel prop is way heavier than the aluminum. So now all of a sudden you got the weight of that prop, which can create prop chatter in low gear because the weight of the prop and then the slow spinning of the prop shaft. Let's say you've got a 2-to-1 gear ratio in the lower unit, just to make the math easy. I know most 150s do not, or 115s, inline 4s, they do not generally have a 2-to-1 gear ratio. But if you did, and you're idling in gear at 600 RPM, which is generally the idle RPM, 600 to 700, somewhere around there, that prop shaft is spinning 300 times per minute. The weight of the stainless steel propeller can throw off how fast this is spinning based on the propeller is spinning, pushing against the gear case, and it's also pushing the weight of the boat forward. The whole way that all works, it's just not enough weight to keep a load on that prop all the time, I guess would be the best way to say that. And so you can get a prop chatter there because of the weight of that stainless steel propeller. But then as soon as you advance that RPM up to, say, 900, the chatter goes away because the weight of the prop is now spinning fast enough for it to keep a load pushing that boat through the water, and it eliminates that prop chatter. That's kind of what we're talking about, prop chatter, versus like a cylinder misfire, which is going to be, one cylinder's throwing off the balance of your engine, creating a vibration, whereas the prop chatter is the weight of the propeller and the way the gears and the weight of the boat and all that stuff are reacting together based on the hub that you have, which can create a chatter of the propeller. It's loud, you can hear it, and then also you'll see a vibration in the engine because of that. So two different things creating a vibration in the engine. Long-winded way to talk about prop chatter and engine balancing. So if you like this clip and you want to watch more, you can see another one over here or watch the full episode over here.